Thank you very much. First of all, I'll just tell you a little bit about EBRD for those who don't know who we are. We're private sector focused. We're also project focused, so very similar in that respect to IFC. But we have a mandate that really focuses on one geographical region and not the world. So that's Central and Eastern Europe, former Soviet Union, and now 2 new countries, Mongolia and Turkey. So that's where we work. Now, if we look at the region, particularly the former Soviet Union countries and Central Eastern Europe, we have a legacy with our countries of operation. And that legacy is of high inefficiency. And it is no surprise that we are using that high inefficiency in order to develop energy efficiency mitigation programs. So at the moment, EBRD's portfolio on an annual basis is about 20 to 30% on energy efficiency projects. So in terms of an institutional response, that has been our primary focus. So we have a highly successful, what we call the Sustainable Energy Initiative. But that's not, as we all know, mitigation is part of the story. It's not the whole story. And on adaptation, we have, I think, with our colleagues in other institutions, struggled in a way to actually really identify from a financial investment viewpoint what our role is in terms of adaptation or resilience. And over the year, or the last 2 years, we've really come to realize that we do have a very strong role to play, and I'll go into that. I'm really pleased that Bob Watson has just left the room, because I was about to say something that he will probably take offense to, which is climate change for us is simple. It's a simple issue for us. It's about Central Asia, it's about the Caucasus, it's about water, and it's about energy. And it's also about the resilience of the infrastructure that we have in our countries of operation. So we have water supply systems which are old, leaking, underinvested. So we have low resilience of that infrastructure. So for us, we don't need the climate change models to the same extent. For us, we've identified where we think our niche is, particularly on the adaptation and resilience side of the equation is. Similarly to IFC, we've had the benefit of utilising Rachenda Connell from Acclimatise to develop a toolkit for us. So she's been working very closely with us. And I'd like to acknowledge the support of the UK DFID for funding that work. And Bob's now just come back in the room, so I will now be say that climate change is very complex and we do need your models. The whole purpose of our meeting today was to talk really about climate change and impact assessment. Now, first of all, I've said climate change is very simple, and now impact assessment. Well, impact assessment is a tool. It's one tool. And there are many other tools. And I think one of the work that we all found interesting working with Acclimatise was, without prompting, it was our credit department who started raising the climate change issues on some of our projects. And I think if we're looking at an institutional response, we need to start doing some joined-up thinking. So it's our credit department, it's the engineers doing the feasibility study, it's the environmental and social specialists doing the ESIAs. We all need to work much better together in order to actually come up with the appropriate institutional response. So the next sort of issue I'd like to just talk about is some of the success that we've had at actually taking some of these policy-related issues down to the project level. And I'm very interested in Alan's work, because there was at least one country there that we were in our region, which was Tajikistan, which you rated as number 10 in terms of vulnerability. And it's similar to the other countries, and it is an exceptionally poor country. It is highly dependent on glacial melt for its water supply, but also its power sector. And so we've been working with the World Bank and other institutions looking at this sector. And as of last week, we have just been successful in getting a PPCR grant to work with us in order to develop adaptation engineering solutions to the Carricombe Dam issue. So as the glaciers start melting more, it means the dams will become under more and more pressure with more water going into them. And so the rehabilitation of that dam structure will also include building in slipways for water to be diverted away from the dam itself. So this is where we're getting a real investment project. EBRD will be lending approximately 75 million if we come to fruition on this project. We'll get a grant from the CIF. We've got other grant elements coming in. So it's where we can actually make a difference. And that's a lesson that we can apply to other hydropower projects in Central Asia and the Caucasus. And I think we've got a lesson here that we could be spread to other regions and other institutions. ESIAs, I said they're just a tool, but they can be made quite an important tool in this area. We've managed to get some additional funds from donors to expand the scope of an ESIA for the Poti port in Georgia. And again, it's looking at different climate scenarios about what will happen again with glacial river flows and the amount of sedimentation that will come down 2 rivers near this port. So at the moment, they're already doing a considerable amount of dredging, and one of the investment concerns that we would have, again you see the link with credit, is more water, more sedimentation, more dredging. So the actual economics of the port, or even the actual viability of the port, can be impacted not just by the sea level rise that could happen, but by sedimentation transport. So again, it's an example of trying to build adaptation and resilience into infrastructure. So I know we're short of time. So for us, adaptation and resilience isn't a risk management tool alone. It's about making projects better. It's about making them more focused. And we are a bank at the end of the day, and it is about getting our money back. So for us, the proper use of all these tools makes for better projects and better investments. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Alistair.